Hey guys, I just did a little brief thing on my Instagram page where if you're not following me on Instagram, I'm just Instagram Mike205 Martin, same as I am here on my YouTube channel. But I wanted to do another video for posterity because I just came up with a new idea. I'm getting ready. Today is February the 13th of 2020, and I'm playing a show opening for Tony McAlpine here in Atlanta. Saturday, the 15th. So if you're in town and you see this, please come to the show. It's going to be amazing. Spurge is opening up, Chris Benoit, me, we're the three local bands, and then Shireman is on tour with Tony, and then of course Tony's headlining. So anyway, I've been thinking about lots of things with my pedal board, and I just redid my pedal board. If you follow me on Instagram, you can see some pictures and some little discussions that I've had about that. I'm going to do some in-depth videos about it. I've just been putting it off, and I'll do that here for the YouTube channel. But one of the things that I've been meaning to work on is, pardon my very science professor hair and beard, because I've just been shedding. Shedding, hopefully not hair, but wood shedding for the show. One of the things I've been meaning to do is to work in a Line 6 HX Stomp into my pedal board so that I can do a few other things. But I found a solution, and let me show you what this solution is all about. So, pan over here. This small pedal board, if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen me post about it. This is my direct board. It's just a pedal train Metro, I think it is, with various drives. And then at the heart of it really is this JDX direct drive by Radial. And what it does is it simulates a clean amplifier so that I can go direct to the front of house and to in-ear monitors. So I don't need an amp. All I need is this pedal board. I do all my gain staging on the floor. If I need a distorted sound, the Riot Mini is just an amazing overdriven amp sound, and the Tumnus is great for just warming up everything because the JDX is completely clean. It does not break up. As a matter of fact, if it clips, you're putting too much signal volume into it. So anyway, really great for that. It also has a through out, so I can use a small amp on stage for my own personal monitor, not that's used for any of that stuff. So then, in any case, here is my main pedal board that I've been playing with for the last few years. I've made very few changes to it, but it's 4-cable method. So I come out of my guitar into the wah, into my 4 different effects there, and then the volume pedal goes to the front of my JSX, and then I come out of the effects loop into my M9 and then return it back to my JSX. And there you go. That's everything done. So for a live show or for recording, I would just mic up the cabinet. But I have used for recording in a pinch and live, up on top of my little Orange OR15, there's another Radial DI up there, and that is a JDX48. And what that is designed to do is designed to go between your head and your cabinet. It's not a load box, so you still have to plug a speaker cabinet into it, but it goes between your head and your cabinet, and it has an XLR out, and that XLR emulates the sound of an SM57 on a 412 cabinet. So I got the idea from Dave Weiner, who plays guitar with Steve Vai's band, because he was using in-ears, this was a few years ago, using in-ears on tour with Steve, and just having a cleaner stage and not kicking a microphone stand, and also the annoyingness of a live microphone picking up all sorts of bleed and maybe being in slightly different places every night, so your guitar tone is changing in your in-ear monitors all the time. So this was a solution for him for that, and it sounds really great. And I was thinking today, as I'm getting ready for the show, that this also has, it has like a Marshall kind of, that's the 412 stack sound. The combo is more like a Fender Twin, and then the JDX 412 is basically sounds like what that DI I just described to you sounds like. So I had an idea, and I looked online for about a half an hour. Nobody's posted anything about this, so if you've been looking for this idea, this totally works. I did not find anybody posting about this, so I just wanted to share it because it's a brilliant revelation, and this is not the JDX direct drive is not an inexpensive piece of gear, but it is not. It is certainly not a universal aux or a super expensive piece of gear. So anyway, what I am doing now is I am going from the effects send to the input of my M9 for my delays and reverbs, and then out of there into the input of the direct drive, there's a through out that is going back to the return of my amplifier, so it's not coloring my sound going to my amp, to the power section at all. And then I have an XLR coming out going into my Apollo Twin to get into my computer. So right now I'm just using console to monitor my sounds. So in effect, I should be able to put something like this direct drive on my board and wire up my rig as usual, but be able to feed the house with an XLR right off of my pedal board and know that it is always consistent, regardless of what cabinet I'm using on stage, because normally I like a 412 cabinet. I was thinking for this show I might bring a 212 cabinet, but I also have a 112 available, which is a little bit brighter sounding than my 212 cabinet. If it were my only cabinet, I might not be as happy. It's great for small gigs and stuff, but for a big show like this with Tony, like I'd prefer to have a 412, but I was gonna go with the 212 because this one sounds great. So anyway, here's what I have learned. So come over here. I am going to put the master volume up to about 7. Let you see that there. So, because the aux is a load box, so I'm not using any, there's no sound coming out of my speaker cabinet. So if I mute everything here on console, you can see it's getting signal, but you're not hearing anything from my cabinet that is plugged into right there. So anyway, hard to hold the phone and play the guitar at the same time, but here is just the aux. Sounds great. It would sound better if I actually controlled the audio going to this, but I'm just doing it with my phone real quick, and I could actually finger some notes on the guitar. So mute that. This is the channel with the JDX. Now for me, sitting here in between my monitors, the aux sounds better. It's not really a comparison with does this sound as good as the aux. This is just for sort of for guerrilla purposes. But here's the thing that I have discovered. So if I go back to the aux, right? It's wired in between the speaker output of my amp and my speaker cabinet. So it takes the load off. So if I turn the volume all the way down, nothing and no signal, but notice on the JDX direct drive, I still have some signal. So essentially what I have learned is I could put this on my board. I can have my stage volume from my amp with any cabinet or no cabinet at all. You do have to have a cabinet on your tube amp. Let me be very clear about that. If you don't have a load box that will take the load off of your head, you have to plug a cabinet into it or you're gonna have a bad day. So that's still important. This is not in place of taking the load off of your amp. But if you need to practice silently or record silently, or if you need to turn your amp down, that's always a concern with tube amps is, man, if I turn it down, I'm gonna lose my sound. Right? Well, this is preamp. So you're not hearing any of the power amp in this situation anyway. This is actually simulating the power amp section of an amp. So tone going to the front of house and to monitors and in-ears does not change. So I can bring my 112 to the show or my 212 and it won't matter. That's just really for my monitoring on stage, and I can send that to front of house, which I think is super, super slick. Flip this around and just say, I just wanted to share that because I looked around online for about a half an hour to see if anybody was doing something like that. So if you're looking for a solution, that makes this direct drive, which was already incredible piece of kit. I've been using it for a couple of years, and I've done plenty of gigs with no amp at all, and it sounds great. Those shows are all in-ear monitor stuff, and I hate in-ears, and it sounds great. So that's been a huge boon to me. This is another great situation where I can use it with my actual larger rig where I normally wouldn't even think about a situation like this because I have the other DI if I want a consistent sound going to the front of house. So there you go. A new idea, the Radial direct drive. Check them out. They make all sorts of great guitar products for DIs, for reamping with your DAW, all kinds of stuff. Like they're an incredible, incredible company. I have several of their products, and this one in particular Just a new idea today. Blows my mind that it works, and it works great. It's the sound of your amp's preamp, not having to simulate that with a drive pedal. So it's another solution that this thing certainly does. And for me, that is a huge boon. So thank you guys for watching this. Please subscribe to my channel if you're here, and then click the bell icon to know when I'm posting new videos and stuff. I promise I'm going to be doing more videos very soon, going through lots of pedals and how I use this stuff, and mainly about just the practicality of how do you use all of this crap that we all have. So anyway, thank you guys so much for checking this out, and leave a comment. Let me know what you're doing in a similar situation, or if you use the same product, or if you found other potential problems using a setup like this, or using other products that are similar to this but don't quite do what the direct drive does. Or maybe there's something else like this that I'm not even aware of. So anyway, let's talk gear. Let's talk shop. Thank you guys. I don't know how to turn my phone off. Greatness.